Allergy awesome crew. I am by myself. My wife should be on her way. So I thought I'd be responsible and start. Hey, sweet, it's West. 2458. Hello, DLC Miami, 1979. So I thought I'd start because you probably are figuring it's the first of the month and I didn't want you waiting, thinking like, oh, are they not doing anything? Since we haven't been here for the past few weeks. Um, So I know what the topic is, so I'll get that started. But I will introduce myself. You're gonna realize I'm not as chatty as my wife, so we're gonna get straight to it. I'm sure she'll be appreciative too that she can come and just hop on in. Chris, you, hello. So I'm Allergy Awesomeness husband, Claudie, father of three. Our two oldest, Halo at Colorman's, have food allergies. Our oldest has EOE, and he has 10 anaphylactic food allergies. Um, and then our second one, child, has two food allergies in general, tree nuts and peanuts. And our third child has none. She is a little bit over a year, and so far we haven't experienced anything. So as far as we know, she's allergy free. Um, I know tonight's topic is in preparation for Halloween. It's discussing ways that we can have a safe Halloween, knowing that there's a lot of food allergies out there and worries of being a parent and your kids getting stuff that goes against that and wanting to include them and wanting to make sure that they're safe, and etc. Hello, food allergy, you and Jonine. Hello. Also, I know that we usually start off with a tidbit about ourselves. So I'm going to think about that. As you know, I usually have my wife go first. And also know that we start off with what has been going on in our allergy world since we've last seen you. One thing I can think of off the top of my head is our oldest. We had him retested to sesame. It was something that he was, I can't remember where he scored, but it was something that we felt that we could retest him to see if maybe he had outgrown it, and he passed. So what we did is we had him at the allergy office with our allergy doctor, and they administered quantities of pure sesame seed paste, starting from a little bit and increasing it to high dosage over a period of time. And he passed, no reactions, no nothing. So that was a great thing for us, that he passed that. So anything else I can't really think of. My wife might have some, but I know that was a big one for us. Um, Next week we're going to Disneyland. So I'm sure we'll be sharing with you guys our experience as far as how that goes. So traveling to Disneyland while having food allergies. It's a little bit stressful, preparing for it and trying to figure out what we're going to do. But hopefully it'll go well, and we will share with you guys how that went. Um, let's see. So tidbit. Um, can't think of one. So I'll get back to you on that one. So hello, turquoise bird 85. Hello, traveling gluten-free mom. Hello, all. Does anyone want to share anything about how their allergy world has been in the past few weeks since last time we've spoken with you guys? Feel free. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. So as far as the topic, preparing for Halloween. Um, so I'm going to go through some things I can remember that we do to prepare for Halloween. So one thing is my wife and I is we go together. So that way we have more than one pair of eyes watching our kids, seeing them as they grab candy at the door, seeing them as they're walking around with the candy. We talk to our kids beforehand. The rule is that they do not eat any candy at all until mom and dad has gone through it and made sure that all the unsafe candy is not there so that they can't have it. They of course are too young. They don't know about labels and what's in what and what's cross contaminated and this and that. So they understand we do not eat any candy at all until mom and dad have gone through it. Now they're old enough; they're familiar with certain candies. Like they know what Reese's look like. A bright orange package. So they know that's something they can't have since they both have peanut and tree nut allergies. And they know certain candies that they can't have, like Skittles. But just to make sure that we're safe, they're not allowed to eat anything of that sort. One of us will usually go to the door with them to kind of help them advocate as far as if they have the choice of picking a candy, that we can support them in picking a candy that we know that they can have. If we can bypass them getting unsafe candy altogether. Um, so yeah, one parent at the door, both of us are together. They can't eat it until we scan through it. What else do we do? So of course we come home, we scan through the candy. Um, we try to make it as even as possible because our oldest son has way more food allergies than our second one. So of course, naturally, the candy that our oldest can't have, that our second child can have, we will, pass on to him. But we'll also try to pass on more of the ones that our oldest can have from our second child, if that makes sense. So that, they don't, for whatever reason, they might get a uneven amount of candy or distribution. So we want to make sure that one doesn't end up with like all their candy taken and they just have this smaller amount while the other one has this big, larger amount, or vice versa. With Halloween, it's kind of a lottery of what candy people hand out, things like that. This year, we're planning on going trick-or-treating in our neighborhood that we just moved into. And that's wifey calling. She's probably wondering if I started or telling me to start, but I already started without her. Hello? Oh, hey, we're working. We're 7 minutes in. We're 8 minutes in now. So I already started. Introduction, talked about a little bit of the allergy world, gone into the topic. So as soon as you get here, you can just join in. Yeah, we did all that. Just show up. Okay. Bye. So that was wifey. She's on her way. She, of course, trying to remind me to mention all the things I already mentioned and then asked me to start since she's behind, but we already started. So, yes, that's typically how we go about our Halloween. We also like to go attend other Halloween activities, like our church. We usually have what they call a trunk or treat. Usually we'll communicate beforehand. We're new, but the last area that we were in, we lived there for 5 or 6 years. So we knew everyone. They knew that our oldest child had food allergies. So they were already ready and prepared to make accommodations or to just make sure that they had the type of candy that he could have. So that was always nice showing up knowing that they had candy prepared for him. And sometimes he got his own special treat, and we really appreciated how they made him feel included, and sometimes even a little bit more special. So church function, we also have, I don't know if you're aware, but there's our local allergy community. I can't remember what it's called right now, but they have what they call the Teal Pumpkin Project. And so that's where people who are in support of alternatives for those who have food allergies, such as like toys, gadgets, school, pencils, whatever, those little things. They will paint a pumpkin teal and they'll have it at their door. And so that's something that we've participated in and that we've had people in our community participate in, knowing that, we don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to serve candy or whether or not they don't have an alternative. Because the teal pumpkin represents that they'll provide an alternative, such like a toy. Let's see. So we got teal pumpkin, we have church, we have what we do when we go trick-or-treating. School. So school is usually a big event, right? Where they want to do something for your children to celebrate Halloween. I know last year with our son, they had kind of like a parade. They could parade around the school, their costumes during the day. That was fun to attend. But again, something that my wife did was beforehand communicate to the teacher about whatever activity it was and what type of candy they're going to have. And we had it to where there wasn't supposed to be any nuts provided. And I know that did not happen. And so my wife had to talk to the teacher at a later time. The teacher didn't really feel comfortable with holding that boundary with the parents, even though it had previously been explained. And so luckily my wife was there though, so she can make sure that our son didn't grab anything or touch anything. But I know that's something that we did last year was try to communicate to the school as well as the teachers, like, hey, if we can make it nut free or whatever free so that our child is safe, that would be appreciated. So hopefully me sharing that has sparked thoughts or ideas as far as how you can go about your Halloween with your family. The last thing you want is to feel like you're trapped in your home and you can't participate with your child in Halloween, and that they're missing out, and etc. So hopefully this is giving you some ideas about how you can go about safely to where you feel like you participated in a responsible way and you're not putting your child in harm's way. Is there any questions? Anyone have any questions or thoughts? Hello, Stash, Matash. We got Boss Kiyaman. We got Mr. J. Kelly. Hello. Kristen Glutch. Hello. Lauren 918. Hello. A lot of new names. Welcome. Allergy Blog. Hello. Erica Bishop. Hello. Masty Girl. Hello. E. Clothy. Hello. Traveling Gluten Free Mom. I think I said hello already, but hello again. And welcome. So if you haven't heard, we are talking about having a safe Halloween, ways that we can enjoy Halloween with our children that have allergies, or if you have allergies, ways that you can be safe and go about it in a responsible way. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much tapped out though. I need my partner here to come fill in. But I know that's what we were planning on talking about, and those are the things that come to my mind as far as how to go about that. Nasty girl, appreciate it. So do your kids prefer a teal pumpkin toy or a safe candy? Just curious what the stock up for our trick-or-treaters. What kids like better? Depends on the toy and depends on the candy. My two oldest are boys, and so and they're old enough now to where like those filler toys are kind of just a waste of time. Where you have like the plastic spider or I don't know, the really basic things that will break / don't last long and you can't really do with. And so I would imagine now like they would appreciate more the candy over that. But I've seen some pretty cool toys, whether it's an actually functioning yo-yo, because there's also those cheap yo-yos, you throw it down once and they're done. But they appreciate yo-yo or a glider, those little, you put them together, airplanes or parachute men. They love spinning tops. So I think they enjoy both really. But at the same time, it also depends what quality of alternatives you have. So depending on the age group, for sure, it's great and it can be entertaining. As they get older, you gotta try a little bit harder to keep their attention span, or else it's just some little dinky thing. But I think equally they like both things. They're both very adventurous. They like toys. They like those things that I mentioned. There's a few others I can't think of, but um, in the past 3 years, it's been great. Whether it's been Easter, we've seen alternatives. Whether it's been Christmas, we've seen alternatives. Halloween, we've seen alternatives. Sometimes, they have birthday parties, and their friends will have little goodie bags and things like that. So they really do appreciate those little toys slash alternatives for Halloween. So I mean, it can definitely be harder for as far as like older kids, especially if they don't have food allergies. They might not be as receptive. They're kind of like, what? A pencil sharpener. But even then, there's been times where I've witnessed kids who don't have food allergies, like, oh, cool. Again, a glider. Oh, cool. A yo-yo. Um, things like that. So I can't remember the company that does those type of things, but I know they're usually made in China and you can buy them in bulk. I'll have my wife mention it when she gets here. But yeah, no problem. Good question. Hello, Gabby Tass. Hello, Kimberly Peterson Mullins. Christiana, hello. Um, but yeah, I mean, we have a pretty good routine. Our kids are used to it, so there's not really any complaints or questions. Just a reminder of like, okay, this is how we're gonna go. This is what we're gonna do. You can't eat it until we've looked through it. And they're pretty good at somewhat recognizing things they can have and things that they can't have. But we always have a parent with them by the door just to make sure, certain things don't slip in. There's always some type of candy that we're not familiar with or doesn't have any type of ingredients, on it. It's just the name of the candy and that's it. So, oh, here's something that comes to mind is that to be extra careful about um, candies that you're not familiar with that you may be tempted to just assume like, oh, it's safe. Like, for instance, your child may have a nut allergy and all you see before you is a lollipop. So you may naturally assume like, oh, it's probably just sugar and food dye. It's always good to, what we do is we put that we need to check that out. And so if there's anything like that, we will usually go look online and see if we can find some type of documentation of what they put in it and how they handle it. Also, it's also good to double check. Sometimes certain candy companies, again, the ones that you probably don't think there's anything, they may switch up whether they do put egg in it, whether they don't put egg in it, whether it's may contain nuts, whether it's may be processed at a facility that contains these certain allergens. That's happened before. So always double check. So I know I did mention like, okay, we're used to certain candies that we know for sure are safe, but we do double check, even if it's something that we know that we've had tons of times. Because sometimes, I don't know if it's depending on where it's made or the candy companies just like to switch it up a little bit, but we've seen that happen. Um, One company I can think of consistently that we have to be on our toes is like the Willy Wonka company. So whether it's the Laffy Taffy, whether it's the Nerds, whether it's but I'm sure you can think of all the little candies that the Willy Wonka company makes. They like to switch it up with sometimes it has egg, sometimes it's processed with somewhere where it has egg, sometimes, so And egg is one of our oldest son's anaphylactic allergies. So we always have to make sure that we check that it's okay, and that you can have it. I want to say Necco is the other company that sometimes will switch up things with their candies. But yeah, so double check. If you're not familiar with it, use the internet. It's a great source. And of course, if we can't find anything, then we say, sorry, you can't have that. So we'd rather be safe than sorry around here. So that's the way we go about it. Another thing that my wife does and that we do is have a bag of candy that you know your kids can have, so that if you do come home and you do have a bunch of candy that they got that they couldn't have, you can swap it out, because that helps, as well as helping kids, depending on their age, especially of dealing with that sense of like, oh, I can't have all that. All the candy has been diminished because I couldn't have it. So it's helpful to have a backup waiting at home, to where you can pretty much swap candy for candy. Oh, you can't have that? Okay, you can have this. Oh, you can't have that? Okay, you can have this. I mentioned, with our children being siblings and having different allergies, we usually can do that amongst them, but we also do have a backup bag just in case. Again, who knows? Everyone might decide to do Snickers bars and Reese's and whatever reason, and we might come home empty-handed. So, and our kids appreciate that. They look forward to that, knowing that there's that backup. Like, okay, we might not get all this, or we might not get as much as we'd like, but mom and dad have this backup that just in case we can swap it out. So hopefully, again, that's another helpful tidbit for you guys. Hello, minus the gluten. And Bex 2683, fruit juice 507, Milo Sunshine, good gluten-free grub. AJ Richard 28, hello. Okay, I think I caught up. So again, if you just joined us, we were talking about having a safe Halloween, ways that we can have a safe Halloween for our children, those that have allergies. So if you missed it, you can feel free to go back through the video, because we will be posting it. Hello, Boss Gieman. But yeah, again, if you have any questions as to ways to have a safe Halloween, or concerns that you have, feel free to ask. If you have experiences that you want to share that has happened to you in the past month concerning food allergies and your children or yourself, feel free to share. I'm not the only person that has experiences. All the people who are probably joining us right now have experiences, so we can share with each other our experiences and give feedback and support each other. You making me crazy, 718, hello, welcome. Look who walked in the door. So yeah. Everybody's quiet. Nothing's gone on in the past month. No questions, no experiences. Everything's been great. Hello, one wondering mom. Welcome. Another tidbit to share is that our son will be testing for shrimp. So they did his shellfish, and they felt that it was low enough for him to test it. So again, the same thing we did with the sesame seed, we're going to do with the shrimp, where they're going to feed in little to increasing amounts to see if he will pass. And that'll be in the next few weeks. So that's exciting, as well as we're a little nervous, but hopefully that will go well.
Hello. What are we on? You're on Instagram?
So yeah, Instagram and YouTube.
YouTube. I tried to.
Sorry, Facebook.
That's okay. I'll get Facebook going.
So
Claudia treating you well?
So I'm tagging out now.
Tagging out.
23 minutes.
You're gonna leave me all on my own? How's it going, guys?
We've had a lot of new people that I've not recognized, as well as some
yay.
good old friends that have come back. We've had one question about, I mentioned the chill pumpkin, and they asked whether our boys prefer candy over alternatives.
See, I got some thoughts on that. Ooh. Can you scooch a little?
Nope.
Hi, Instagram.
You just gotta, we usually put it in that.
Yeah. We're going so late. Yeah. I love the Till Pumpkin, and I love the idea behind it, and I love, especially for like a lot of my EOE friends, where their kids like literally can't do anything, that they have options. But like, I don't want a neighborhood full of Till Pumpkins, and I know that probably like makes me an awful allergy mom. But I support it. Like, I have gone on the news about it, local news. I've tried to drum up, so people know about it. I give ideas for non-food treats. But like, I want my kids to have the classic. There we go. Thank you. I want our kids to have the classic Halloween experience. So I enjoy them getting treats, and even with our son, who is top 8, needs. My video paused. We there, Instagram? So even though our son can't do any of the top 8 except for soy, I mean, there's still Dum Dums and Skittles and Starburst and Swedish Fish and Mike and Ike's and Pixie Sticks and and Jolly Ranchers, and so I just feel like there's enough treats that for a kid, like, what do they want? They want a treat, I love Chill Pumpkin. I love when they have a toy because it lasts more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And doesn't give them a sugar high. So I like a mixture. So I always have a smile on my face when I see that someone has gone to the trouble for the Till Pumpkin. But it also means a lot to me when there's safe treats handed out. I mean, when we walk up to a doorstep and it's just a bowl of chocolate, I'm like, did you tell them what we've taught our boys to do?
Mm-hmm. We talked about how we talked to them before. We don't eat candy.
Yeah.
We usually go together to make sure we have eyes. We usually have someone at the door with them to help advocate or support them in picking a safe treat.
Yeah, because a lot of parents will just hand out, here, pick one.
Yeah.
And I think our oldest now is smart enough to recognize packages. Like, he knows if I don't recognize it, it's probably not safe. Yeah. It does stink at a house where like they do have just all chocolate, so it's either contaminated with peanuts or it's got dairy in it. And we just say, just go ahead and, we can say, just don't take one, or you can take one, and then like Claudia and I will eat it, or we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah. I also mentioned that we'll tend to have a backup bag of candy that we can swap the candy that.
Yeah. And we definitely go like trick-or-treating for a long time. Like, my feet are tired by the end, because we know that we're going to have to probably take like half their pile. So we try and have their buckets be really full, so that way they're still left with like a really generous amount. So we get going early and we stay till it's dark and it's late. But it's fun. Like, I love it. And I always used to think,
for me, it's like an hour and a half of trick-or-treating.
Oh, I think it's like an hour and a half too. Don't you?
Hey,
Amanda. No. Sorry, we're so late, Facebook.
It can seem long when you're walking door to door, but no, it's like an hour and a half.
Facebook, I was at a blogging event, so I just barely got in, and we do Facebook from my phone. So Claudia was a stud, held down the fort. That started on time, and he gave a lot of good Halloween tips. So you can go watch the replay on Instagram if you want to catch up from the beginning.
I hope it was good. I'm experiencing crickets. I'm a little worried, but.
Well, we're just starting to do these monthly instead of weekly, so I think people probably forgot.
But it's all good.
But that's why the replay's good.
Chief Ashton, hello.
So yeah, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on the Till Pumpkin, but I like a mixture. I don't want it to be completely teal, just because I like them to get a few treats, because I know for them that's like the most exciting part. And then, our one son can do a few that the other can't, so then we let them trade. But did you mention we try to not go through the pumpkins, like, so we've got their full pumpkin full of candy afterwards. We try to not
bag.
Yeah. We try to have like one parent be like, okay, go ahead and get out of your costume and get in your PJs because it's bedtime. And like the other parent's like frantically like, Snickers out of the way, and like
You
because
can guess who the other parent is because that's definitely not me.
yeah, that's me. Because I know it's not fun
There's
for them to
nothing
watch their
frantic.
candy. I mean, because we end up with a big pile of no candy that like is not
Yeah.
safe for either of them. And I know that's hard for them to watch. So that's why we have one parent distract. So that way they're not like, there go all my hard work, And I hurry and shove it in a bag, put it away, throw it away, eat it yourself, whatever you feel safe with. I know some parents don't like it in the house. And that way when they come home, we're like, look what you can have. Or when they come down the stairs or whatever, we're like, look what you can have. So that always ends up working out kind of good, don't you think?
Yeah, it's worked.
I don't know why I just keep saying low connection. I bet it's because we're all. Let me switch to data. Sorry, Facebook. I hope you'll be back when I come back.
I was hoping you touched upon more like the school aspect.
Okay.
Kind of shared last year. Teacher kind of didn't really.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm just trying to get the internet better.
To the boundary that you kind of set up with them.
Yeah,
you were there.
That was frustrating. So this is why I try and always, whether I have to find a babysitter for my other kids or it's a sacrifice, or if I have to take work off, I think it's worthwhile to go to classroom parties, especially like the Halloween, the Christmas, and the Valentine's, where there's always going to be.
I forgot about that one.
Food involved, unless you put that in your 504 that you have to do non-food parties. But we choose to let him have food parties because I can go and I always come up with ideas that are safe for him. I can give you guys some of the ideas that I've done before. So like last year I tried to do the treat station. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Charlene.
NYC.
Woohoo, NYC.
I was born in Brooklyn.
Yes, that's true. So I did like glutino because we can do soy, Oreos, and then what did I use for the legs? I'll have to go back and look.
What was it?
We made spiders. Didn't we make spiders?
Is it pretzels?
Yes, pretzel legs, glutino, pretzels, and I used honey to stick on edible eyes. So like, I don't know, I just feel like I can come up with workarounds so they can still have something, but have it be safe. But I was frustrated because, the teacher has a sign on her door. This is a peanut-free, tree-nut-free, milk, egg-free classroom. And she was good. The teacher like put in the email, because I liked how this teacher did it. She had the parents completely run the party, which I thought was smart. I think teachers deserve a timeout. So she had every parent running every station, and the teacher just kind of walked around, took pictures. So she really wasn't in charge of much other than the fact that it is her classroom. And here was my beef. So these parents brought in candy, even though they were not the treat station, for their game station. And I was like, for real, right? Because I'm like, they're getting tons of candy tonight and there's already a treat station. You don't need to be giving them more candy in the middle of the day. And the teacher took one look at it and it was like Snickers and Butterfingers. Like both have peanuts in them, clearly. Both have chocolate. Like I was just like, and I could tell the teacher like looked at their bag and she was like, oh, and she stepped aside. And that's kind of what bothered me. She was like, I'm going to have you go talk to Megan because her son has some allergies and she's going to need to look through that. And I just wish she would have said, no, those aren't safe. And I wish she would have been the gatekeeper. It's her classroom. It's for her to decide. And I just felt awkward then trying to be the policeman, when it wasn't my classroom. I wish she would have like taken the stance. And so I looked through it and I was like, I'm sorry, like, I don't feel comfortable. And it was awkward because I was put on the spot. I may seem like online, but like in person to a stranger, like I don't like being confrontational.
Yeah, it's opposite.
Right? Yeah.
I may seem quiet online.
He can be confrontational. Yeah, I let him do it.
Like I said, I was born in New York and I was raised in Boston.
Yeah,
so
he knows how to back himself.
It's just how it is in life.
Yeah.
Over there, you got to be able to.
And I was like born in passive Idaho,
accept
where you smile at everyone.
Confrontation.
So anyways, I was just like, gulp. And so I was like, well, I'd really rather you not. Like, I still didn't be like, you can't. Like, I was like, I really don't feel comfortable with you handing those treats out because, like, the chocolate can melt onto their hands and then they're all touching the same games. And they're like, well, what about the candy corn? And I was like, well, that has egg whites, so it's still not safe for my son. And for better or worse, like, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I just felt like I'd already told them no on the two things they brought, and I just didn't want to have a fight. So I said, if you really must hand out a treat, I guess you could hand out the candy corn because it shouldn't get on their fingers, but just know you're not gonna be able to give my son any. Thinking and hoping that they would be like, oh, well, why would we hand out a treat to like everyone but you? But they did. And, you know, I had to make some support calls about it. I was pretty frustrated about it. And I recognized that I chose to not make that stance. Maybe they would have listened to me. Maybe they wouldn't have. But I said, no treats at all. You didn't bring anything safe. I was trying to kind of think, can I make some peace, meet them in the middle? Because I did feel like I wasn't willing to jeopardize my son's safety. I knew he would be okay with the candy corn. But yeah, I was just bothered. I was bothered, and I did a bunch of Instagram stories about it that day. So if you ever want to follow along in real time, I do try and do Instagram stories quite frequently. And then to follow it up, when I had parent-teacher conferences, just like shortly after, we decided that I'd talk to the teacher face-to-face, which was also terrifying for me. But I didn't want to shoot off an email. I wanted to be able to discuss it with her. So when we sat down, I chose to just share how that affected me. I chose to try not come in blaming, but just say, hey, it was really scary for me on the Halloween party when parents brought in unsafe treats and you chose to let me handle it instead of you saying this isn't safe. And I said, I understand you tried to put precautions in place, but what can we do next time to make sure the next party that it's safer? And we brainstormed. And I think by letting her be a part of the solution and not being like, you let unsafe treats and I wasn't happy with the way that was handled, just more sharing, like, because we've learned that, like, right, anger is a secondary emotion. It's usually trying to cover up some other vulnerability. So I was like, okay, what's the core thing? Like, I was scared and I was embarrassed and I was nervous. Like, so I can call out those if I'm willing to let the anger move to the side. So I think that was a really good learning experience, learning to like advocate and bring up kind of a failure to a teacher, excuse me, and so on and so forth. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a good learning experience.
Let's see what. So Becca said that when talking about swapping the candy when they're not looking.
Let
me
me
do that. Those are your fingers, not mine.
Smaller fingers. Oh, maybe not. Oh, this might be giving us
The
glitches.
angle.
No, I think it's just, I don't know. Facebook and Instagram have not been letting me touch stuff lately. Sorry, Becca. We can't. Maybe type out the second part of your comment. We can see that she's not seeing me rip it away, but now that she's older, she says, Mom, can you double check? Yeah, and did you mention we always do that? Like, I'll check the pile.
Yes.
And then you check it again.
I mentioned that we double check.
Because I'm always worried I'll miss something.
Not only just, well, I probably didn't mention we double check just in case you missed something, but I did say double check stuff that you naturally assume you can have. Sometimes the candy companies will switch up where they process
on
it
holiday runs.
Yes, whether it's got egg in it or not.
Yeah, like Laffy Taffy is a perfect example.
Mentioned that.
I can't remember
Willy
if it's
Wonka
the large or
type
small.
candies is what I mentioned.
The large sizes will sometimes have different ingredients than the smaller sizes, so it's a wreck. Can I share Switch Witch? Yeah, I know a lot of people like that story and like that idea. Yeah, so I know a lot of people have had success with that. I've never personally done it, but I think it's super cute, and I do like that idea. Elizabeth says, I've had to have that conversation with many teachers and other parents many times. It's never fun. No, you don't want to be the stickler. You don't want to be the Debbie Downer being like, hey, that was really thoughtful. You're trying to share a treat with my child, but no, like it's not fun. Can I switch gears? I mean, you can always ask a question.
Cool.
But I just want to share where I was at. Did you tell them where I was at?
No.
Okay.
I figured you could do that.
So
before you tell them where you were at, because I haven't done my tidbit, and of course, while being on the spot, I couldn't think of a tidbit.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have you take up time. But I was just thinking with Halloween, I was just thinking about as a kid, my favorite Halloween costume.
What was that?
Was being a pirate.
Classic.
Yes.
Pre-Jack Sparrow,
in
even.
In the 80s, it was hot to be a pirate. And I think it was like one of the first Halloween costumes I can remember was actually bought from the store. So that was a big deal.
Special, yeah.
I got an eye patch and I had a sword. So I was the man.
You were lit.
So
Ready to
that is
go.
my tidbit.
Nice.
Is my favorite / first.
We always do
Halloween
tidbits
costume.
at the first, but
Yes.
we're throwing them in the middle.
Yes, because I can't remember.
That's okay. I was impressed. I thought he was going to just wait till we got home and turn it on later. So I'm impressed you did it. Thanks for holding down the fort.
People would have been
Having their allergy awesomeness withdrawals.
yes.
I'll stick with the theme, and my favorite was, and I don't even necessarily remember it very much. It's very hazy because I was probably like 3 or 4 at the time. But
I remember mine because I had to rock that thing out for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh well, yeah, that will help.
So that helps.
It. Yeah.
That's what happens when you come from humble beginnings.
Amen. We're still humble, but
yeah.
So I loved it because my mom had me be Dorothy, and she like bought Keds and like put like glue and sparkles on them. Like there was like legit sparkles on them.
Like glitter?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was like a trail of glitter everywhere I went. I thought it was really cute. My mom went to a lot of work. So
all the red glitter road.
Yeah, exactly. And in Idaho, where there's like usually snow when you're trick or treating, that's not that hard to do. But anyways, yeah, I guess. So anywho, what I was going to share really quick is where I was at is I know people probably think bloggers do this type of stuff all the time, but I don't really think it's that often. But I got to do it like a blogger meetup because there is an expo here locally in Utah called the My Gluten Free World Expo.
Okay.
And they're a great expo. I spoke at them in the spring, and they're already doing another one in the fall, and they moved it up to Sandy. So for anyone local, it's more central to Utah County and like Salt Lake, so you don't have to go as far south. And they gave us a list. There's like over 70 vendors. There's going to be like a how to make gluten-free crepes demonstration. I mean, just the swag bags alone, they're telling us the stuff that's going to be swag bags. And you get better swag bags at the beginning than at the end. They've stuffed the ones that they're going to hand out at the front. You guys, it's only like $7 a ticket. I'm going to be giving out some free ones pretty soon.
And you're definitely getting more than $7 worth of stuff.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And they've said that they're like literally they were event planners. Like that was their job. And one of them was gluten-free. And she was just like, man, I wish it was a gluten-free expo. I guess I'll do it. And I love to support people like that where it's like you feel like there's something missing. And so you just make it a passion project. And it's just her and her friend. And throwing an event is a lot of work. And she does it. And so I just want to support that and say, if you guys are local, it's going to be, I think, next week. I'll put details in the comments below. I'm going to be at Disneyland, so we will not be there.
That as well.
Yeah. So, but you guys should go. I think it sounds like it's going to be a really great event. And the best part is kids get in for free. So Utah families have like 12 kids, something to do for the day, samples.
Did you really just say that?
Yes, I did.
Utah families do not have 12 kids.
It's a stereotype.
It's a stereotype. You've been here long enough to know that that's not.
I know. It's just being facetious. And they're gonna let kids trick or treat, and they'll even have till pumpkins for kids with food allergies and non-food treats. So, boom, go tell them Allergy Awesome sent you. I want to share one more. Oh, and the dinner was at this restaurant for, again, my locals called Tsunami. I had never heard of it. There's like 3 or 4 of them.
Japanese?
Yeah. And like Claudia was saying when I walked in the door, if our son passes shrimp, we are going there because they handle gluten-free. First of all, they have gluten-free cheesecake, which I knew you would die for. I don't really care for sushi, but I love for our son to try some. And they have gluten-free soy sauce, which can be really hard to find at like Asian restaurants. They have a dedicated like chef that will take care of it, completely different prep line because their child has very severe nut allergies. And the owners.
Oh, nice.
And so they get it. And I'm really excited. I'm like, I would taking my family here, which is like 5 restaurants total that I would say that about. So, and I don't, like I said, I don't like sushi. So they had a lot of just like plating options. So I got like Korean short ribs. They have like chicken and other things you can order if you're not like huge into sushi.
You didn't get the deep fry stuff?
They don't do deep fry because it's gluten free.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was really awesome. Oh yes, Amanda says she's been to Tsunami. So
nice. So this is Facebook?
Yes, Facebook.
So Facebook, what you missed is I had mentioned our son passed sesame seed
And lentils.
and lentils.
Mhm.
Sorry, everybody else, I forgot the lentils. And so yeah, in a few weeks he'll be testing shrimp.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Cross your fingers. I've done Instagram stories every time, so you fall in there. But you know what? I'm totally kicking myself because, like, I was looking over menus at Disney, and I'm like, oh, if he could have shrimp, that would open up more eating options for us.
Mm.
So I'm like bummed that I didn't think to like do shrimp before Disney. But shrimp is the one that has the biggest chance of failing and him having a reaction. So our allergist wanted to save it to the end because if he has a reaction, he might not feel comfortable doing more oral challenges, if that makes sense. So there was wisdom in it, but I'm just like, oh, I wish we had time to squeeze it in before Disney. But I am planning on totally Instagramming it up when we're in Disneyland. I plan on showing every single thing my son puts in his mouth. Like 3 days of Disney. Because I have looked and looked online and I am not finding any good resources. Like I can find lots of gluten-free things at Disney. I can find lots of dairy-free, but I'm not finding like top 8 free, gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, nut-free. And it's just frustrating. So like get ready because I'm gonna be like, don't eat that yet. I gotta take a picture, but I just know like I want yeah, tell them we want some vegan beignets, right? And a gluten-free churro. I cannot believe they haven't come up with that. That's a classic Disney. So yeah, so I definitely plan on just making it easier because I know like even I'm nervous. Like I know Disney is fabulous, but there's still that like, what are we gonna eat? What restaurant are we gonna go to? So I would love to be like when you go to Disney, go here, 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 here for lunch, order these things off the menu, go here, here, here for dinner, because like it's still a little confusing. Like I know they say they can cater to any food allergy. You can talk to the chef, they can whip anything up, they can tweak anything, but like it's still just that like unknown. We were just talking about this last night of like, but what if we wait in line for food and then they're like, oh, we can't at this kiosk, you gotta go to this restaurant. Because you know, there's some that are just quick serve that don't have like as much of a chef, but the like restaurant ones I've heard take longer to get into and can be harder because you have reservations. So, anyways, I'm hoping to at least figure some things out for you guys, and I will, as always, share whatever I find out.
Unless you guys already know something.
Yeah, I'm up for
to
tips.
let us know.
But I feel like I've asked a lot for tips. I mean, people be like, get the Dole Whip.
The what?
The Dole Whip. It's like a pineapple kind of sorbet thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Amanda, I should call you. But it's just hard because, like I said, I can find lots of dairy-free options. I can find lots of gluten-free options. Or I can find some vegan, but gluten-free, vegan, nut-free. It seems to be like a really difficult overlap that I know Disney is capable of. I'm just not finding a lot of options. I've emailed special dining. They say you should email us if you have more than 3 food allergies. I'm working with Getaway Today, which I love working with them. I've watched and listened to and read lots of articles on it. So I'm trying to be as prepared as I can, and we'll just go with the flow and figure it out too, right? Because I'm so go with the flow.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be good.
That's me.
Yeah.
So good thing I'll be there.
Yes, we need each other, that's for sure. So yeah, good luck trick-or-treating, you guys. I would love to hear how that goes for you guys. And in the comments, like say anything that has been hard with trick-or-treating or good even afterwards so people can like learn from this feed because lots of people watch it after. It's not always live. We get a lot of views after. And then I have a lot of fun Halloween treats that I have made in the past, like Frankenstein Rice Krispies, ghost meringues, chocolate bats. So I'm going to be posting those pretty just throughout the weeks in October. So definitely be watching because those are super fun. And spider sugar cookies, some really big favorites that always do really well. So look for those. And then, did you have anything else? So I'll end on this. Well, I have 2 things to end on. One is I think the cover to my cookbook is almost done. They sent me one. I didn't love it, so I sent it back. They sent me another one, and I think we're close, don't you? I think it's looking pretty good.
I hope we're close.
Don't worry, I'm keeping it on the timeline though. I'm not going past the timeline. And then I have a 1-ingredient, dairy-free, nut-free, vegan caramel dipping, like to dip your apples in. That I just edited the video today. It should be going live tomorrow. So little teaser, sneak peek. You do need an Instant Pot for it. So maybe if you don't have one, go on Amazon right after so you can get the 2-day shipping. But I'm really excited to share that recipe with you guys. And as always, I'm always just trying to work on lots of seasonal, fun holiday stuff for you guys. So keep playing along. And no, I'm not done. I'm never done. Last thing. Well, two things. So I have, and I love it, and I appreciate it. People will comment on my Instagram, my Facebook, like, "Oh, I made this. It was so good. I love it. Thank you so much. My child loved it." But what is super helpful, I love it on social media, but can I like ask for a double dip? Can I be like that selfish? To like comment on the blog itself, especially because people will say on social media, like, "I love this, but I can't do coconut oil, so I use canola oil, and it still turned out great." And I'm always like, put it on the actual blog post because no one goes back and sees the social media post, and it just helps future readers. So I always appreciate it. You tweak a recipe, or even if you like it, that you comment. Because I know when I've gone to blogs, I'll see people like, "Oh, I substituted this for this," and I'm like, "Oh, that's nice to know someone tried that and it worked out." And then someone asked me, a super thoughtful reader, she was like, "How do I rate your recipes?" And for those that don't know, like when you rate a recipe, Google will push it up in the rankings, which means that some poor allergy mom out there searching like dairy-free Tuscan chicken, then she's gonna be able to find that and help other people who need these recipes to be able to find them. So
it's more likely to be on the first page in the
yeah,
search.
because we all know how it is, like
Versus
searching.
Like who really looks through page 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, etc. for search?
Well, and I just find it frustrating when I
They're
try.
there,
Yeah.
but
And I find it frustrating when I try to search like dairy-free chicken recipes, but then they're still using like ghee, or they're still like they're not like really what you need. So for allergy moms to be able to get and find what they need when you rate my recipes, it helps it rank. That's a tongue twister. Yes, Amanda, we should talk about Disneyland. I know you're a Disney pro. Ariana says I always bring my own snacks because my family wasn't always hungry for full meals. Oh yeah, girl, we're bringing a double stroller just so there's a spot for the cooler. I'm gonna go to Whole Foods once we get into town. We're gonna go ahead and eat breakfast in our hotel because we got like a kitchenette. So I want to be able to make sure just it's cheaper and we fill up. You know, I'm gonna get yogurts and his toast and stuff, and then we'll do like lunch and dinner in the park. So I agree, Ariana, 100%. And I'm sorry, you guys, it is not letting me click on your comments to see more. So I'm only seeing like the first sentence. So I think we'll end there. Look for the caramel recipe tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, we're down to just once a month. That's why we did this, because it's the first Monday of every month. So have a safe and happy October. And we'll see you in November.
after Halloween.
After Halloween. Be safe. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I brought you cheesecake.